I think that's where the essence of this lies.
Like my life depends on that piece of dessert or that chocolate.
More than 70% of children today are coming to school without eating a breakfast.
We tried it for a bit, but
How did your heart feel today?
yeah, so please answer it.
Well,
Long before calorie counts, hormone panels, supplements, and health apps, there was rest, there was rhythm, there was food that nourished, and practices that grounded. What if the answer and the balance that we've all been looking for today is something that we can teach our children from the very beginning? Today, we're going back to our roots. We're talking about physical health, spiritual well being, and practices that will ground us. Today, we have with us somebody whose work sits so beautifully on the intersection of ancient Ayurvedic practices and modern technology, modern science, and everything modern. Karishma is an integrative nutritionist, a certified health coach, a practitioner of ancient Ayurveda, and a practitioner of Vedic soul chart readings. She not only helps people find their path, but she also helps people in their holistic nutrition and holistic living. Hi, I'm Sneha Javeri, your fellow mommy friend and the host of Mama Approved, a podcast where I ask all your pressing questions to the best people in the business.
I go to schools and, there are 5th standard, 6th standard children who are, when we ask questions, right? They say the most, and I'll ask them, we do this thing called food and mood journaling. Is this one of the activities that we do
nice.
with the kids,
How
right?
lovely.
We ask them what they've eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
And then they tell us what they felt after eating it.
Oh.
And they tell us the next activity that they did after eating it.
Oh, and how does that help?
One is we understand what is the meal that they have eaten,
Okay.
right? Second is we understand after this meal that they have eaten, 1 hour, 2 hours into it, how did they feel? How are their energy levels? Did they remain the same for a longer time? Did they crash after some time because they were maybe, sugar loaded or carbohydrate rich and not complete meals? How is it that activity that they did after it, did it get impacted with the meal that they ate or not? Because with kids, you have to realize, right?
Yeah.
So much of activity that they're doing. They're waking up in the morning, going to school activities, academics, tuitions, classes, dealing with
Pressure.
parents, pressure, friends, so many different
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
are there, right? Sticking to schedules, routines.
Yeah.
Of course, that requires a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Are they being fueled like that? Does the energy sustain? Does it dip? Do they feel hungry, tired in the middle of certain things? What is the gap that is there? How many hours are there between each meal, right? This shows us a clear index of where the insulin levels are rising and falling in a child, which is the crux of major disorders today.
Yes.
Name it. PCOS, thyroid issues, endometriosis, diabetes, most of the health disorders that affect women majorly, and of course men too, come from a simple ground foundation of insulin resistance. Their insulin not being able to function the way that it should.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. That today we're seeing kids craving sugar
Yes,
and salt.
yes.
Like, I mean, I don't remember craving anything like this. The way I see, I mean, I have only my daughter's example, but I'm sure everybody has that same example in front of them. But like, as though we've never seen meetha in our life like that. Like, my life depends on that piece of dessert or that chocolate or that looking forward to the weekend for that, whatever.
Yeah.
To another level.
Yes.
Another level.
That's a fantastic question. Let's give you the data on it.
Yeah, please.
We have been doing research. Me and my team, what we do is we ask questions to the children.
Yeah.
And we get the answers pre and post our workshops.
Okay.
And what is a striking thing that we have realized? There are lots of shocking observations that we have realized. The first one, to answer to your question, more than 70% of children today are coming to school without eating a breakfast.
Why?
The why could be a lot of reasons with, maybe the parents not having the time to probably prepare a breakfast, the child not liking the breakfast that the parent has prepared. There could be a inner ability of the child not wanting to eat heavier foods in the morning. In fact, a lot of parents also force their kids to have a lot of milk, but the child is lactose intolerant. And that's why the child starts getting an aversion where
I
I'll
was
wake
that.
up.
I never used to have a breakfast before going to school. I used to have a glass of milk
Yeah.
because that time, you know how it was, ek glass doodh pee ke go to school
Yeah,
types.
yeah.
I used to throw up every single day.
Me too.
And then my mom was like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
So then they realized, okay, then that time the lactose intolerant was not
No.
even a concept. They're like, what nonsense are you talking? But my mom was like, no, I'm sure there's something wrong. My grandparents and all were like, she's lost the plot. Like, there's no such thing in life. How can you not drink milk?
Yes.
So then she used to give me curd. She used to give me caramel custard, the progressive mother that she was.
The
She
mom is
thought-
on her A game.
Right?
Yes.
All this stuff she used to make. And at that time, there were no nannies. There was no help, nothing. This poor woman is waking up at 5:45 and trying to make all this stuff for me.
Yeah.
And but my kids, because of this, I have made sure that you will not leave the house without eating. Bas, whatever happens.
It's very important.
Yeah.
You know, there are 5th, 6th, 7th standard kids asking me and talking to me about intermittent fasting.
Oh my God. Are you
That's what the internet does to you. And at an age where they need to be building, they need to be storing energy, utilizing it, the growth factor is involved. At an age like this where they need to build their relationship with food, they're fantasizing and talking about doing things which adults need to do to get rid of certain diseases or certain disorders.
So tell me, so they don't eat, you said 70% of the kids don't eat breakfast.
Yes, they come to school without eating any breakfast.
Okay.
Their first meal, now they've reached school, they've woken up at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's understand how this spike is happening as well.
Yeah.
They've woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They've taken their bus and everything, not eaten a breakfast, reached school. You know, their first recess is at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
A child that wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning and hasn't eaten a morsel of food
Yeah.
or any kind of, drink as well, till 10:30, so many hours, your stomach is empty, your energy levels have now slowly dipped, your insulin levels have also dipped. You eat 10:30 your meal. Most of these kids are so hungry by then, right, that whatever is there in front of them,
They'll just eat it.
they'll just eat it. They'll also go and get food from wherever, maybe a canteen, maybe from friends, right? You've eaten a carbohydrate-rich, a sweet-laden snack that you've gotten probably in school or you've gotten it from home, right?
Yeah.
Your insulin levels have spiked immediately now. The next thing that we know is their next break, the lunch break, comes in at 1:30.
Yeah.
It's the same process. Again, at 1:30, they're eating carbohydrate-rich, meals. Either it's at the school or either it's something that they have gotten.
Right.
One of the advantages of doing the food and mood journal exercise with them is we realized what exactly they're eating for breakfast and lunch. And as per our data and statistics, with the research that we have done, we have found that 64% of the students were getting wheat, maida, any kind of fast instant food products as their main lunch item. There is also a very nice variety of people where we've realized that almost 60 to 70% of the students are eating rice on a daily basis. That's fine. It's more preferable to eat that in the night because it has tryptophan, calms you down. It makes you feel nice in the nights. But we've realized that their lunches, the breakfast that they would eat, we would get answers like we're eating one roti and we're having one glass of milk for our breakfast and we're leaving home, or we're not having any breakfast, or we're having something like a puri bhaji for breakfast, or we're having something like we're just grabbing a fruit and we're eating it for breakfast. So the answers that we were getting, and we've recorded all these things, we have all this data. It opens your eyes to understanding what kind of meals these kids are eating on a day-to-day basis. You see their lunches as well. Carbohydrate rich, hardly any protein, hardly any fiber, hardly any antioxidants inside the meals. So, what I'm saying is that we've recognized this, that the children are already being wired to enter high activity areas, internally being on low energy.
It's not consistent, basically. It's
At
just
all.
high, low.
Constantly. If you're doing this at a young age, of course, by the time that you reach your 20s, 25s, you're going to be having metabolic disorders.
Yes.
You're going to be having insulin resistance, right? And this is not me saying this. This is research saying it.
Yeah.
And I feel like breakfast is such an important meal for everybody.
Yeah. And it should be, yeah.
More than that, adults, okay. But for children, all the parents listening as well, I would urge you to kindly prepare a nice, warm, small, healthy breakfast item for your child before they leave from home so that their insulin levels are being maintained, their energy levels are nice. Because guess what this does for a child and a student? It enhances focus, it enhances concentration, it keeps you more energized to be able to then focus in class or maybe a sport activity. We spoke to the teachers later and they told us that so many students have focus concentration issues. And we put this out as because everything needs a label now.
Right. Yeah.
Everything needs a label now.
Of course. We are those
That's
parents.
that's the
We are those parents.
that's the curse of our modern way of looking at things. We need a diagnosis for everything. We need a label for everything.
Yeah.
Now the parent has told the teacher that I think my child is ADHD.
Okay.
This is where a nice, knowledgeable Vedic counselor, modern health practitioner, modern psychology practitioner comes in.
It
Are we
might not
looking
be
at are we
ADHD.
looking at are we looking at what the child is eating? Are we looking at the child's sleep patterns? Are we looking at the child's energy levels and exercise levels and overall activity levels that the child is doing in the entire day? Are we looking at the kind of surroundings that they are being surrounded with, the kind of information that is going into them throughout the day? Are we looking at all these things? We have just given them a self-diagnosis of something which is a very big condition
Yeah.
without understanding all these things. No, unfortunately, your child might not have ADHD. Your child might have a dysregulated diet, sleep pattern, lifestyle issue, along with behavioral patterns which are being influenced by the parent's behavior.
Right.
Till the time you do not look into these things or do not get an official diagnosis from a psychiatrist,
You can't jump to conclusions.
you cannot jump to these conclusions. We found out that when we spoke to the teachers, we found out why are the children having all these energy levels, low energy levels, focus issues, concentration issues, and academic progress is being, affected. Then we saw the recall. Then we saw what they're eating in the entire day.
Yeah.
And then when you put 2:2, you realize that, yes,
So, very quickly, I'm going to ask you, what should an ideal day for a fully energetic, packed day, a packed, busy, super busy child, which all the kids are. They all wake up in the morning, school, home, class to class, home. It's a packed day.
yeah.
What should an ideal food day, what should an ideal spiritual practice day, what should an ideal mother-child connection day look like?
Fantastic. Let's start from the morning.
Yeah.
As soon as we wake up, we have a general tendency, we as adults have a tendency, as soon as we wake up, we go into activity mode.
Right.
We just hit it. Like, we'll pick up our phone, we'll break our coffee, we'll go into this whole high energy vibe.
Right.
You're conditioning your child to do the same thing. So first what you do is, whatever time is there that is supposed to be wake. I know the child will have a little difficulty waking up, but with time, with patience, and with, repetition, it gets better.
Okay.
15 minutes before, sit with the child, do a small little visualization activity. We have beautiful audios and videos available online these days, right? A small little, you personally close your eyes, sit with your child, hold their hand, do a nice gratitude practice or a nice visualization with your child, right? That 5-10 minutes sets the tone for the entire day. The child has not entered into the day with dread.
Yeah.
The child has entered into the day with a little positive attitude
Nice.
by the support of the parent as well. Because they are not emotionally regulated to do this by
And the
themselves.
parent has also entered the day a
With
little
that,
better.
yes, the connection starts there. It starts from the beginning, right? So that's number one. Once this activity is done, and of course, your daily routine takes place, a nice warm breakfast.
Yeah.
We were talking about the gunas before. Let's also put a little bit of light on the doshas.
Yeah.
We have an Ayurvedic cycle and the way that we have a circadian rhythm, we also have an Ayurvedic clock.
Right.
So, the early mornings, we need to be able to ground ourselves. We need to have warm foods. We need to be able to have things which are calming our stomach down.
Okay.
So, a nice breakfast, like for example, maybe some moong dal chilla with a little grated paneer or tofu inside, right? With some vegetables which are there inside, a warm meal, or maybe we're having like a nice, ragi porridge. It's got some fruits and nuts and seeds inside, right? A little bit of cocoa powder so the child feels like, wow, I'm eating dessert in the morning, These are just some examples, right? We start our day like this, right? We can have some, in the modern day, we're looking at kids who like to really cherish this whole nice way of, what kind of things that they say on Instagram. Make nice homemade ragi pancakes with, a little bit of fruit on top, some, Greek yogurt on top, right? You can make it fun in the morning as well.
Right.
And it doesn't take too much of
No, it
effort. This is all pre-planning.
Yeah.
It's pre-prepping that you can do.
Yeah.
Batter stays in the fridge for a long time. Chutney stay in the fridge for a long time, right? Our curd, home-set curd is staying in the fridge for a long time. We're infusing probiotics, prebiotics first thing in the day, coating the stomach with good fats.
Nice.
We're starting our mornings like this. Now, key thing to remember is you eat breakfast together.
Oh.
You do not let the child eat the breakfast alone. No matter what your schedule is, what it is, even if it is a small bowl that you are sitting with, you sit and eat you
Coffee
sit
cup
in
does not count as breakfast.
coffee cup. Coffee does not count as breakfast.
Why?
I'll tell you a very interesting fact on this. I'm glad you brought this up. In our research, in the statistics, we found a shocking number of 5th, 6th standard kids drinking tea and coffee already because their parents are drinking tea and coffee in the morning. Tea and coffee has now become a regular part of their breakfast or evening snack because they watch their parents having tea and coffee every day.
Wow.
We have the data to show you this.
Amazing. Insane.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no, that mug of tea and coffee does not count as breakfast. And I hope it doesn't count as breakfast for the child as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so we have to have the breakfast with them. ठीक है.
Even if it's a small portion.
Okay.
It's not like maybe if you're running late,
Yeah.
you're tired, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
2 spoons, 3 spoons of something,
Okay.
I think it's manageable,
Yeah.
right? Once that's done and the child is off to school, of course, what the child does in the school is their,
Yeah.
way of doing things.
Yeah.
Most kids, if they're taking a packed lunch or a packed snack box from home, very important for parents to understand that these 2 tiffins, let's call them tiffins because that's what I used to get,
Yeah.
tiffins.
Yeah. Tiffins.
My loving mother used to send me with, it's a joke that I still have with my friends. My loving mother used to send me with not 1, not 2, 4 tiffins.
How sweet.
Because, she knew that, not only was I consuming it, my friends were also consuming it.
Yeah.
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 She realized this very early.
Yeah.
And not only then she didn't start just giving me the food. She started sending me food for my friends also.
We had a couple of those
Yeah.
friends who used to get, the mother used to send such a big tip because everybody was eating from their tiffin. It was so yummy. So, yeah.
So I used to go with 4 tiffins to school, and then the full gang used to sit and eat together.
Yeah, sweet.
What the parents need to do for the first tiffin, for the 9, 10:30 break,
Yeah.
please make sure that you're not giving sugary sweets, sugary carbohydrate-rich things, right? Like, for example, don't give bread-based items. The most common answer that we got was sandwich.
Easiest.
Of course, it is the easiest, but is it nutrient dense? Is it adding? I'll tell you what happens after that sandwich. If that one sandwich is consumed at 10:30, in the next 1.5 hour, the energy has dipped. Their next break is at 1 o'clock. The hunger has already started. They've started feeling drowsy already, tired already, because their day has started at 6 o'clock in the morning. Nuts, fruits, protein-based snacks, right? What I mean by protein-based snacks is not a protein powder or something like that. What I mean is that you can make really nice, I always say this, you can make really nice, I like to infuse a lot of different ways of vegetables and fruits that you can give to children, without them coming to know. We can make really nice, palak beetroot idlis with some nice chutney along with it. Mini ones, right? Mini food always works with kids.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
attractive for them.
yes.
We can give them an egg-based item, right? We could give them a nice, a warm salad that is there that they can eat later on. Of course, it will not be warm, but it'll be room temperature, but it'll have sautéed things inside and not raw things. We can give them something which is, I like to call this the a fun recipe of, we all know what appe is, right? So very easy to prepare in the morning also. A nice lentil based appe, either masoor dal, moong dal, rice, urad dal. You can make the batter and keep it yourself, right? You grate lots of vegetables inside or puree it and do not even come to know a nice color. You put a little bit of sweet corn, some capsicum, jalapenos, you put some cheese in the center. You make it like a nice cheese burst little appe for them. Give them a nice chutney or something with it. Doesn't even require that, right?
Right.
And it's got so much inside already. It's got fiber, it's got protein, it's got probiotics, it's got so many things inside. This is just one of the examples, right?
And doable.
Easy, very easy to
Very
make
easy.
as well.
Yeah.
Something like that in their first meal. The next meal, lunch that is there, please make sure you're giving them something which is, of course, they don't like to eat too many wet things or too many, lots of dal, chawal and all. They don't like that. But then you can do better things. You could do a paneer paratha. You could do a aloo paratha with some nice sabzi on the side, right? You can also do lots of different kinds of, we get these different options now of giving these rice kind of bowls, which are dry.
yeah.
You do a little saute of every single thing and you make a nice little,
Mexican
poke
bowl
bowl, Mexican bowl, burrito bowl. You make things which have, some or the other 4 to 5 elements inside it. Again, very easy to assemble in the morning because you've already pre-prepped these things, So I'm saying you can give these options. There are a lot, right? We only have time for this much right now.
Yeah.
But I'm saying please make sure they're complete meals that are going to them so they're sustaining.
Yeah.
Another thing, very important. Most children have a ride back home
You need to give them something for that.
and they need a snack for this.
Today only I told her. I said, I'm going to give you little makhana for your bus ride back home. And she was like, really? Do I need makhana for my bus ride back home? I think I'm saving a little bit of my snack for my bus ride back home. So that's when it...
Yes.
Because for me also, this is a first, right? Like, first child is coming home for the first time via bus. So I'm like, okay, you need a snack to come back.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right.
We found that,
Yeah.
when we did this research,
They need something, yeah.
we found that so many kids were feeling so hungry and so tired because they had a long commute home.
Yeah.
Even if it is 20 minutes,
No,
it
no,
is
it's
long.
It's long.
Even
They
if
want
it
to
is,
get home.
no matter how much time it is,
they wanna
that
get
commute home, they want to eat something.
Yeah.
So please do make sure that you're packing a small little snack. Makhanas that you said, nicely flavored ones at home that you have made, fantastic. You can also make chocolate coated makhanas and they would love to eat that.
Yeah.
You can give dates to them, right? Dates are energy packed, full of iron. It's really good for them as well.
Yeah.
And it's sweet, so they would want to eat
They
it.
want to eat it, yeah.
You can give some chana, some peanuts. You can give things that they would like to munch on.
Yeah, munchy things, yeah.
Small little thing that they have and they know that this is my little snack for later.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It always makes it
does.
preps your brain. Wouldn't you feel happy if you know that
Absolutely.
I'm always really happy.
I'm also
Every single
happy.
time I know that, oh my God, I have this little treat with me which I'm going to eat
Yeah,
later.
yeah. I'm also very happy.
And it's the
I
same thing.
look forward to that 4 o'clock.
Yes, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing with kids as well. Why do we forget this?
Yeah, yeah.
The second statistic, the reason I'm saying this is that another thing that we found out was that such a large percentage, if I can remember very clearly, around more than 54 to 55% of students were not having anything in the evening as a snack before their dinner.
Wow.
And this really shocked me and my team. And we were like, wow, I'm so
Why?
glad that
Yeah.
we're doing this so that we come to know what real statistics, what real data is coming right from the lion's mouth.
Yeah.
The children have given us these answers. Not the parents, the children. With complete honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. They know what they're eating.
Because the parent will sugarcoat it.
Yeah. She doesn't like to eat anything in the morning. She's very this thing. Yeah. Obviously, we are going to do that.
Yeah, but the child will not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
So the thing that we realized is that if you've eaten your lunch, let's say at 2 o'clock, or if the child has come home at 3 o'clock and eaten a lunch at 3 o'clock, the dinner is happening at probably 7:30, 8:30 in the night.
Yeah.
Such a long gap of not eating anything.
And they're doing so much in that time.
Some are going for tuitions and they're like, ma'am, we don't
and
get
most
time.
of them are doing sports,
Yes.
post school. So
Yes.
they need something for sure.
Yes. One of the student was maybe in the 7th standard, I think, recently, last week. And I was asking him a question in the food and mood thing. And he said, I come back home, I eat 1 chapati with a little bit of sabzi at 3 o'clock. And I eat dal. Dal, sabzi, roti. 1 roti. I eat this at 3:30. I go and I play football. I play football for 2 hours. I come back home. And then after that, my dinner is at 7:30. And I said, oh, wow, how do you feel after this? And he said, I'm fine. I feel energetic. And then I said, oh, that's great. And then what is for dinner? And then he said, what we eat for lunch, we eat the same thing for dinner. I said, okay. And before I could say something else, he told me, recently I have started realizing that I get a lot of injuries. Every single time that I get an injury, it takes me. And he was holding his hand like this,
Yeah.
which means currently it was paining him.
Ah.
He said, I get a lot of injuries these days. I have realized this, and of course he gets that. Yeah, of course he gets injuries, right? Because nutrient density is not there in the food.
Okay.
Before you go to play sports, same way that adults need pre-workout, post-workout things, children also need the same thing.
Wow.
They need to eat power-packed meals to be able to support that sport activity, to be able to support that tuition class.
And I feel more than we realize this much later. So I think parents of older kids might be able to relate with this, but for people like me who have younger kids, it's the mood.
Yeah.
You just feel like there are constant meltdowns. There's, they're fighting with each other. They're making up with each other when they're in a good mood. I'm just like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? But I think it is so related to nutrition and what they're eating, which we are so unaware of because we're just trying to make copybook menus, me included.
Yes.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm trying to make copybook menus for the kids, right? Sunday night, I make the menu for the week, whatever. But I don't think we are aware of how we are balancing everything through the day for the kids.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, last week I gave this, and chalo, now this week I'll give this. But is it, all the parameters might not be met in whatever I'm planning, you know? Like, for example, today only she's taken avocado with truffle oil and salt, pepper. That's it for her 10 o'clock. But I should have given her something else with that, That might not be enough for her. Now I'm feeling very bad after having this conversation with you.
You didn't add any complex carbs
Nothing
to it?
I've done. I've only given because, avocado is filling enough. But for me, but for her, she might not be filling,
Yes.
So I should have put like a small pancake or something like that I should have done.
I think you as a mom or anybody as a parent, they always strive to do their 100%.
But we need to be more aware, I think. And I think this, speaking to experts, talking to people like you, makes us more aware. It gives us so much more insight on what we're doing. So, yes. Last parting, I'm going to squeeze everything out of you today.
Yeah.
Parting question. Of course, this is the nutrition aspect of it, and you gave us a small little example of how we can build the spiritual aspect of it for the morning.
Yes.
Is there something we should do?
I know the question already. Yes.
Yeah, so please answer it.
Yes. I think what you wanted to ask me was what is it that we could do for the rest of the day, the night, the evening as a parent-child
As a
connection
lifestyle.
activity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When school is over, when sports are over, everything is done, the father has finished work and come home. Mom is tired as well from every single thing that has happened. Working moms as well coming home tired. Moms who are at home but doing a lot of things and already tired with so much of house responsibility and management, right? Not just the child, but you and the child together need very essential winding down activities.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the scientific reason behind this as well. One of the major issues these days in young adults and of course adults as well is that sleep is a problem. Falling asleep, staying asleep, going into deep sleep, recovery is not happening. So many people are popping
Magnesium.
any and every kind of supplement that they can get their hands on to be able to just get some nice deep sleep.
Yeah.
And for children, sleep is literally like a comforting hug from a parent.
Yeah.
If they sleep well, the behavioral things that you were talking about, along with their food and insulin levels, if they sleep really well and they wake up fresh in the morning with their designated time period of hours that they need, anything between 7 to 9 hours that you can cap in for your child, no matter what age they are, is going to be a soul balm for them.
Wow.
So that sleep parameter is very important. But to get there, the parent and the child need to intervene so that the parent also gets deep sleep and the child also gets deep sleep. How do we do this? As much as possible, an early dinner, a dinner together.
Yeah.
Ideal timing would be anything between 7 to 8 p.m. Some people can't manage it, of course, but that's an ideal timing. If you can have an early dinner, it's just great for the gut health also.
Yeah.
Once you've eaten your dinner together, on the dinner table, there should be no conversations about anything and about anything which is related to emotions. I find a lot of dinner table conversations, especially when parents and children sit together, laden with emotional talk, or the parent trying to demand, command, ask something out of the child. Dinner table conversations should not be emotionally driven.
Okay.
They should be calming, peaceful. If there is a need to have a conversation, please do have it, but it should be a fun, easy, nice banter. If there is no need to have it, please mindfully eat your meals. Say a nice little small prayer for the meal that has been cooked, has been presented to you, induces mindfulness. You do it with the child.
So forgotten this. Nobody does this anymore.
It takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You close your
So
eyes and you say,
important.
thank you for the food on the table. And I hope that this nourishes me and my family. We begin there.
Yeah.
We have our meal together. No emotional conversations, no asking, demanding, commanding, anything on the dinner table. We have to keep it light, easy, cool. Once this is done, very important activity. Everybody clears the table and the kitchen together. Everybody. The child does this with the parent.
Wow. This is going to be fun.
And in a very nice, gentle way. You know? Here, I'll show you how to do this. Will you help me with this? Son, daughter, husband, wife, doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Everybody picking one activity. I'll clean the table. I'll put the mats. I'll rinse the dishes. Everybody participates in this. A 15-minute job becomes a 5-minute job like this, and you've taught the child something very important.
Yeah.
Clean up after you.
Yeah.
This will go a long way in life. It will help their relationships as well in the future.
They'll learn to clean up after themselves. Absolutely. This is so profound and so amazing. I can go on and on, Karishma, but people are telling me from that side that our time is unfortunately up. Thank you so much for this. This was absolutely eye-opening. One of my most favorite conversations that I've had till now. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you, Sneha. It's been lovely. I'm just so happy to be able to share whatever little insights I could.
Yes.
There is a whole. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
There is a whole, plethora of things that are
And that
there.
is what this is intended for. We want to
Yes.
give people the tip so that they go looking for that entire iceberg and they
Yes.
can help themselves, their children, and that's the quest of this. So thank you so much again for
Thank you.
joining us, taking out such precious time, coming all the way from Goa. This was just amazing. Thank
I'm
you
very
so
happy to do
much.
this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this episode has done as much for you as it has done for me. If you like content like this, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.